What's up, guys? This is Rey-Jay back with another video, and today I have a very important update involving the overall market, involving Donald Trump's tariffs, as we're seeing a huge piece of news coming out. I'm going to break down how this is affecting the markets because we have some very big pieces of news coming out. Just know that I'm not a financial planner. Take nothing I'm saying as financial advice, and don't forget about my Moomoo link. Deposit $100 and you're guaranteed 5 free stocks. Deposit $2,000 and you're guaranteed 30. My offer ends at the end of March. Anyways, so as far as the market's going, we have this possible inverse head and shoulders like structure developing on SPY, but nothing is guaranteed quite yet until we break resistance. Now, for SPY, I mentioned that with CPI coming out, all the numbers were below or as expected. But just keep in mind that I wanted to see us break 565 to turn bullish on SPY. We ended up not doing that. And I said if we lost 560, we're looking for a dump back down very close to the lows from yesterday. So if you guys watched my video and played my levels, you would have made some serious bank if you watched the video very closely. On the QQQ, we had to break past 480 to turn bullish. If we had failed at that support, we would see a dip all the way down to like the lower 470s. That's what also ended up happening. So, why is the market dipping? What's happening with Donald Trump's tariffs? Let's talk about this. How on earth are other countries responding? So, the first thing is that Donald Trump is increasing tariffs on all steel and aluminum imports to 25%, removing exemptions from his 2018 tariffs. That's some very big news. And as a result of this, we're seeing the EU retaliating. The European Union now wants to essentially increase duties on many American products, about $28 billion worth of them. And it's going to be including steel and aluminum, textiles, home appliances, agricultural goods, motorcycles, peanut butter, jeans, and all of that are going to be affected by this, as Europe is going to be once again increasing their tariffs as well. So they're retaliating. They're not happy about the tariffs, and that's a big piece of news. The second big piece of news that just came out is that Canada is going to be doing the same thing. So because of these tariffs, you have to remember that Donald Trump first threatened 50% tariffs on steel and aluminum imports, but then he backed down on that. Now he's saying it's going to be only 25% on Canada. So Donald Trump did that, and then as a result, Canada is now announcing new trade duties on $21 billion worth of U.S. goods in response to Donald Trump. So it's just a war that's going on, right? The U.S. increases tariffs, then Canada responds, the EU responds, and maybe again we're just going to go back and forth, creating this war. This is going to be affecting a lot of different products, at least thus far, so just keep that in mind. But Canada and the EU responding is what caused this big dump so far in the markets. Now, the question is, can the market get bought back up from here? Can we hold support? This depends on a lot of different factors. There's other things affecting the markets, such as the fact that we have PPI data coming out for tomorrow. Not to mention, we're going to be listening to see what happens with the funding bill that's going to be passing the Senate very soon, in my opinion. So far, the bill has passed the U.S. House with a very good decision that came out yesterday. And now tomorrow, or not tomorrow, by Friday, we need to see it pass the Senate. So once it passes the Senate, the government's going to be funded up until September. This typically has a big reaction from the stock market, so this could cause a big move. And so far, it's very important to remember that. Another thing I want to mention is that on top of that, we also have a potential ceasefire deal to be signed between Russia and Ukraine. Ukraine is already agreeing to it, so we're going to see if Russia can negotiate and see if terms accommodate to their standards. They did talk about that as well. That could also be a big catalyst for this market. So I just want to say that there is some good news I have as well. Like if you look at Donald Trump's tariffs, I don't think there's much scheduled for quite a while. I think the majority of his tariffs have been imposed, and then we may not have much else more until like April 12th, unless Donald Trump makes a lot of exemptions. So there might be some time, like a couple of days, a couple of weeks of freedom for the markets where there's not going to be like all this tariff talk. Maybe it's going to cool down just a little bit. There's a possibility of that. So that could be another good sign for the markets. So the tariff news could be priced in now, and that's a good sign that the market could be getting ready for a nice bounce soon. There's no confirmation yet on the charts unless we could see SPY close above 565. That's going to be a good sign. It's going to try to rebound. So we'll see if we get that move or not. There's a possible inverse head and shoulders here, so this could lead to more upside if this pans out. If SPY loses 552, it's going to be a bad sign. This could start dumping a lot more, but we'll see if we end up holding here or not. I'll be watching this very closely. So for SPY, watch 552 is the main support. If we fail there, that's going to be a bad sign. We also have some support at 555, which is the previous low we got from a couple of days ago. To turn bullish, we want to get back above that 560 area. That's our 50 EMA. Then you want to get back above 565. If we break that, then yes, this could try to bounce. As of right now, we're technically in this range, so we'll have to give this more time. The QQQ is looking more resilient than SPY. It also has a slanted inverse head and shoulders. However, I need to see this thing break 480 to push for 485, which is where our 200 EMA happens to be. If we end up losing 468, it's not going to be a good sign, but so far we are showing some resilience. For the Russell, we did expect a downside mover back to the red, but we have to see if 200 holds. If we could hold 200, it's going to be a good sign for an attempt for 202. If not, we could be dipping more. So we'll see if we are about to form an inverse head and shoulders. There is potential in this. For ES, same setup, inverse head and shoulders. I also want to call out the fact that when you zoom out on ES on the 4-hour time frame, not only was there a bullish divergence yesterday, but also we're at support right here, right? We have this trend line acting as support. This right here is our support. So we're going to see if we bounce off this or not, but we're at big support on ES. So we will see if that helps us or not. On NQ, looking decent so far in the 4-hour. We're still struggling to break past the 20 EMA. We're looking for 19,687 as our resistance. If that breaks, this could pump a lot more to get back towards 20,000. If we reject and end up losing 19,200, we could be dipping. So we'll give this some time as time goes on. For Bitcoin, we have an inverse head and shoulders. We have to see if we could break past 84,466. If not, we could be tipping lower. So we're going to be watching to see if we get some kind of bounce here to break past 85,000. So keep that in mind. For NQ, we're looking a bit more bullish, especially off this bullish divergence. Nvda is looking bullish. Excuse me, guys. We want to break past 117 to get back up to 120. If we end up losing 111, it could turn back down. For now, it is looking resilient. This is helping the market to some extent. It looks a bit more bullish. Tesla's a bit more bullish, but we need to break past 248 to 250 to run more. Then we have a gap to fill around 262. If we end up losing 230, we will turn back down. But for now, Tesla is showing resilience, especially after Donald Trump ended up buying a Tesla, and then he started saying things in favor of Tesla, which helped them. Then we also had Elon Musk making big claims about the robotaxi. Good news so far. Apple kind of weak right now. We had some bad news because of the fact that we got a bad piece of news from Morgan Stanley. I think they cut their iPhone forecast targets to about 230 million units. That's what's causing a bit of a dip right here. So this could be affecting their revenue projections. That's what's causing this downside move. So that's why we're going to be looking at this 215 area to see if we base or not. If not, we could dip lower. Still some weakness nonetheless. For coin, I do see a bullish divergence. I want to see if we can make a higher low. That's all I care about. We have a gap to fill back up towards 211. However, we'll see if we kind of come down like this, make a higher low, then start to bounce. Can we make a higher low and try to hold around the supports? We have support at 183, then 180. If we could hold that range, we could try to bounce, but we'll see, guys, just to be safe. Amazon showing resilience. Can we make a higher low here? There's the possibility of an inverse head and shoulders, but I want to see this thing hold above 202, break 202, and this could pump a lot more. If we end up losing 192, we could dump a lot more, so we have to be careful with this, but this has some potential. Meta has some potential. I want to see it break past 618, and then if that's the case, we could be looking for an attempt to get back up to 640. It tried to bounce, but showing a little bit of weakness right here. Microsoft is in the middle. We need to see this get back above 386. If that breaks, we're looking for essentially 388. Google is also looking decent. Just to be very, very clear, we're kind of stuck in the middle, so I have to give that a little bit more time to develop. But if we could get back above 169, we could try to push more. There's some potential nonetheless. So when I look at the VIX, we have a clear bearish divergence and we have a lot of gaps to fill. So I assume the market is going to eventually get the bounce we're looking for, but we're not there yet. Okay, we're not ready yet. We haven't broken resistance yet, so we have to be very patient. There is still a risk of downside if you look at the patterns and the charts that are developing so far. Let me go back to the 30 minutes time frame. Sorry about that, but there is still some risk right now, right? There's a lot of risk with the way in which things are going with these tariffs that could still cause more volatility. But I do think the tariff news might cool off a bit once, we see other things that take hold of the news. I also think that Donald Trump is not planning on announcing as many tariffs as he has this last few weeks for just a couple of weeks up until April. Then he goes back to doing that. So that could give the market some leeway. And then if we have our catalysts such as the funding bill, Ukrainian news, good data tomorrow, that could still help this market. So we'll see if the inverse head and shoulders pan out or not. So be very, very patient. So watch your levels just to be safe. There is still potential in the market to get a big bounce later on. We just have to see if we could base for now. That's what we're waiting for. Give the market some time, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you for listening, and peace out.